Walk with me.
In thee, O I am, do I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in thy righteousness. Bow down thine ears to me. Deliver me speedily. Be thou my strong rock for an house of defense to save me. For thou art my rock and my fortress. Therefore, thy name's sake, lead me and guide me. Pull me out of the net that they have left privily for me, for thou art my strength. Into thy hand I commit my spirits. Thou hast redeemed me. O I am God of truth. I have hated them that regard lying vanities, but I trust in thee I am. I will be glad and rejoice in thy mercy, for thou hast considered my trouble. Thou hast known my adversaries, and hast not shut me up into the hand of thy enemy. Thou hast set my feet in a large room. Have mercy upon me, O Tatanzame, for I am in trouble. My eye is consumed with grief, yea, my soul in my belly. For my life is spent with grief, and my ears with sighing. My strength faileth because of my iniquity, and my bones are consumed. I was reproached among my enemies, but especially among my neighbors, and a fear to my acquaintance, and they that did seek me without fled from me. For I am forgotten as a dead man out of mind, and I am like a broken vessel. For I have heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side. While they took counsel together against me, they devised to take away my life. But I trusted in thee, O Sanini Nanini. I said, thou art my God. My times are in thy hand. Deliver me from the hand of my enemies and from them that persecute me. Make thy face to shine upon thy servant, and make me for thy mercy's sake. Let me not be ashamed, O Yahweh, for I have called upon thee. Let the wicked be ashamed, and let them be silent in the grave. Psalms chapter 31. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me in my seed forever, that we go not astray henceforth and forevermore. A psalm of Abram, Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Those of you on this platform and other shared platforms, we thank God for you walking with Mr. Clay. Yes, I am Mr. Clay. Now, we thank God also for those of you that have been with us from the beginning. We thank God for those of you who have been with us thereafter and here and there's about. And we thank God for those of you that are about to subscribe, even those of you who have just subscribed. Yes, even calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, we give God the glory and the praise for you, because it's God's will that we should learn what he has for his children and what he requires of those who would follow and seek him. Yes. Now we're in the 33, I think it's 33. 33, I was reading it last night, but old folks don't remember much. 33, yes. The 33rd chapter of the book of Jasher. Jasher chapter 33. And we ended in verse 23 to begin in verse 24 as you prepare. And Jacob and his sons were angry because of what Shechem did in stealing Dinah and raping her and then saying he loves her. We don't know what kind of fear Dinah was in, or how she might have cried and was humbled, and that she didn't know. She probably didn't even think that she would even be rescued and even to see. Now, this is also the tactics during the time of the transatlantic slave trade, in front of their mothers, in front of their fathers, in front of their brothers, even their own husbands. These nasty, dirty, low-down folks did the same thing, so to speak, in so many ways. The field hands as well as the slave master did the same thing. Oh, yes. And God is going to do a good thing now. This is why I want to remind you, we're going into the book of Joshua. You're going to see something here. We're going to go into the book of Joshua after this book of Jasher. And we're going to read from there on through the prophets and all that. And then the Apocrypha, Joshua, the Apocrypha, the prophets, the kings. And we're going to call that segment of Joshua Taking Back the Land. And a great spiritual thing is going to happen during that time. A great spiritual thing. But either way, let us continue. Now, in verse 24, Haman spoke unto them, saying, the soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter. I pray you give her unto him for a wife, and intermarry with us, and give us your daughters, and we will give you our daughters, and you shall dwell in our land, and we will be as one people in the land. For our land is very extensive, so dwell ye and trade therein, and get possessions in it, and do therein as you desire, and no one shall prevent you by saying a word to you. And Haman ceased speaking unto Jacob and his sons. And behold, Shechem his son had come after him, and he sat before them. And Shechem spoke before Jacob and his sons, saying, May I find favor in your sight, that you will give me your daughter. And whatever you say to me, that will I do for her. Ask for me abundance of dowry and gifts, and I will give it, and whatever you shall say unto me, that will I do, and whatsoever he be that will rebel against your orders, he shall die. Only give me the damsel for a wife. Why should you believe the devil or a Satan? Now, and Simeon and Levi answered Haman and Shechem his son deceitfully, saying, All you have spoken unto us we will do for you. And behold, our sister is in your house, but keep away from her until we send to our father Isaac concerning this matter. For we can do nothing without his consent. Now, in the law it says, if a man finds a damsel in the field and he lay with her, and, he didn't force himself upon her, then he shall go to her father and ask for her hand in marriage, because he hath humbled her. Now, if her father rejects that, then he shall pay the dowry, and he'll go his way. Now, this was consensual. Now, verse 31, For he knoweth the ways of our father Abraham, that whatsoever he saith unto us, we will tell you. We will conceal nothing from you. Now, this here was not that case which I've just spoken. It was not that case. This was plain grape, white woman stealing, whatever you want. It was kidnap, grape, and all these things that happen in all the earth today. He trafficked her to himself. Verse 32, And Simeon and Levi folks spoke this unto Shechem and his father in order to find a pretext to seek counsel what was to be done to Shechem and to his city in this manner. You have to remember that they were outnumbered at this point. Now, when Shechem and his father heard the words of Simeon and Levi, it seems good in their sight that Shem and his father came forth to go home. Shechem and his father came forth to go home. And when they had gone, the sons of Jacob said to their father, saying, Behold, we know that death is due to these wicked ones and to their city, because they transgressed that which God hath commanded unto Noah. See, all of them know. You can't say your spirituality or they know. You just forgot. Your parents or your great-grandfathers did not teach you. Egypt did not teach you anything, but went there to change that which they have received of the children of Israel, even to idols, space monsters, Anunnaki, and all this other garbage. There is only one God. There is only one. I've already spoken all the backup I could ever have. It's up to you to believe it, receive it, and keep going. But many of you, you love you love the twilight. You love those things that are of darkness. You like to figure out how things, and many times you're dead wrong. Now, In verse 34, and when they had gone, the sons of Jacob said to their fathers, saying, behold, we know that death is due to these wicked ones and to their city, because they transgressed what that God had commanded unto Noah and his children, his seed after them. Like I say, the commandments already existed. They were just reissued during the time of Moses. And also because Shechem did this thing to our sister Dinah in defiling her, for such vileness shall never be done among us. In other words, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's daughter, his wife, his maidservant. These things, covetousness, this is what Shechem had done. He coveted to the point that he graped, that he stole. Thou shalt not steal. You see these things, when lust is conceived, it brings forth sin, transgressions against what? Those laws. When sin is finished, it brings forth death. Now, this is what he's saying. Now, therefore, know and see what you will do, and seek counsel and pretext what is to be done with them, in order to kill all the inhabitants of this city. And Simeon said unto them, this is a proper advice for you, and tell them to circumcise every man amongst them as. Now, this is what Simeon said. He said, and tell them amongst every male amongst them, as we are circumcised. If they do not wish to do this, we shall take our daughter from them and go away. And if they consent to do this and will do it, then will they, when they are sunk down with pain, because you have to go through a soreness point, even babies. There's a soreness, and you don't want to do nothing but keep your legs wide open, man, and just bear it. I mean, these days you have antibiotics, you have all kind of things to try to help you, some aspirin or whatever, but you got to go through the soreness part. Now you take that with the word of God. There's a part where you're going to have to be separated from people. You become sensitive to the things around you, even around that area that is affected. Now, verse 38, and if they consent to do this, and we will do it, then when they are sunk down with pain, we will attack them with our swords as upon one who is quiet and peaceable. And we will slay every male person amongst them. In other words, they're not going to have no more Shechem. They're not going to have no more land. We're going to cut off everything. See, when you cut off the male, you done cut off the whole nation. Not the female. The female is transitional. She can transition to this family or to that nation or to this continent. She's transitional. She bears children unto that nation, regardless of what color they are. If you're a Caucasian and you have a black baby by a black female, then that baby is Caucasian, or whatever nation you come from of those Caucasians. Whether he just don't look like you, no. He dark skinned, but that's still your seed. Come on here. The same thing with you. If you marry a white woman and a white woman is you black, as they would say in crayon colors, then that baby becomes whatever nation you are of the black nations or the brown nations. And that's your seed. This is the way the Bible goes. There's no matriarchy in the Bible. If there is a matriarchy, it's because the men were taken, as with the half tribe of Manasseh. Now, let us continue. And on the next morning, Shechem and Hamor, his father, came again unto Jacob and his sons to speak concerning Dinah, to hear what answer the sons of Jacob would give to their words. And the sons of Jacob spoke deceitfully, saying, we told our father Isaac. In other words, they didn't say nothing. All your words and your words pleased him. But he spoke unto us, saying, thus did Abraham his father command him from God, though I am of the whole earth, or the God or the creator of the whole earth, that any man who is not of his descendants that should wish to take one of his daughters shall cause every man belonging to him to be circumcised as we are circumcised. And then we may give him our daughter for a wife. This is true. There was one law for everyone that came off that boat and their offspring. There was one law. But then apparently that law was thrown out. It was messed up. And the men, every one of the children of Noah went their separate ways, except for Shem. Shem cleaved to the I am. And this same Shem became whom you call Melchizedek. and his son Eber, who is the father of those who they call Hebrew. It might be Eber, it might be whatever it is, but Hebrew is what the name that we understand today. Now, he says, now we make known our ways that our father spoke unto us. I'm in verse 43, for we cannot do this which you've spoken to us, to give our daughter to an uncircumcised man, for it is a disgrace to us. Verse 44, and therein we will consent to you to give our daughter, and we will also take ourselves your daughters. Yeah, we're gonna mingle it up. Yeah, God said, thou shalt not commingle. Y'all can't mingle no seed, is what he said. You messing folks up. It ain't about you. It ain't about racism. You messing folks up. Children are foolish. They're going to call one a zebra stripe and the other one they're going to call them half-breed and all these other things. And because of your lust and your desire for the other person that is not of your hue or not of your nation, then you have messed up. This is God's way. Thou shalt not mingle seed is the law. Yes, he was talking in terms of farmers because that's what they were, farmers. And will dwell amongst you and be one people as you have spoken. If you see, this is the work of Satan's. This is the work of Satan's. But yet, see, Satan had swayed their minds to think that this thing would occur. He had swayed their minds in many ways. See, the prayer of Abraham has so many applications. Now, if you will hearken to us and consent, that's why you must, I'm gonna get to it, but that's why you have to submit yourselves to the laws, ordinances, commandments, and statutes of the Most High. Because Satan can come and fool you with all kind of things. If you walk outside of that, if you talk outside of that, you will find yourself in a bed with a harlot, or either in the bed with one who is not of you, and you will have a baby, or you will have babies by them, or you will begin to have to desert. You might even be deleted. Just like one woman, she called herself doing something. Not only her, but it's not uncommon. Deleted by someone not of her nation. Because it was a sacrifice. And now he's probably hailed amongst his peers and those of his hierarchy as one of the bros. And will dwell amongst us and you and be one people as you have spoken. If you will hearken unto us and consent and be like us to circumcise every man belonging to you as we are circumcised. Now, all these are black folks. I don't care what you say, how mad you get, or whatever you come up with. All these are black folks, really. They are, but they are different nations. And you will not, if you will not hearken unto us and have every male circumcised as we are circumcised, as we have commanded, then we will come to you and take our daughter from you and go away. And Shechem and his father Hamor heard the words of the sons of Jacob, even Jacob, and the thing pleased him exceedingly. Now this is also spiritually done. And Shechem and his father Hamor hastened to do the wishes of the sons of Jacob. For Shechem was very fond of Dinah. Yes, he took, before he even got permission, he took her. He humbled her. He graped her. This young lady or child, I don't know how old she was, but the fact is she was scared. And his soul was riveted to her. And Shechem and his father, maybe he might have just, some of these child molesters, they like the innocency. They like the fear that that child or that woman presents to them. The mind of a criminal. Yes, the mind of a criminal. They like the weaker things, the things that are innocent. These are the ways of devils. They want you in your innocency. Train your mind to walk out of your gender or to do all manner of evil toward your brother or your sister. These are things that plague the minds of men today. Look at the nations, even on a national scale. I mean, to even cause yourself to even try to erase a people just for some oil. Oh, we're going to see the outcome of all this. Taking back the land, the book of Joshua. Prepare for that. But either way, And Shechem and his father Hamor heard the words of the sons of Jacob, and this thing pleased him. Now we're going to go to 47. And Shechem and his father Hamor hastened to the gate of the city. In other words, the gate of the city. I mean, where the city, the entrance to the city is what they're talking about. And they assembled all the men in their city and spoke unto them the words of the sons of Jacob, saying, we came to these men, the sons of Jacob, and we spoke unto them concerning their daughter. These men will consent to do according to our wishes, and behold, our land is of great extent for them, and they will dwell in it, and trade in it, and we shall be one people, and we will take their daughters, and our daughters we will give unto them for their wives. But only on this condition will these men consent to do this thing, that every male amongst us be circumcised, as they are circumcised, as their God commanded them. Their God, he was their God too. Noah wasn't too far back, and the commandments wasn't given, it was given to Noah unto his sons, and his sons to their sons, but somewhere it stopped, even with Shechem. Amongst us to be circumcised as they circumcised, and their God commanded them. And when we shall have done according to their instructions to be circumcised, then they will dwell among us together with our cattle, our possessions, and we shall be as one people with them. In other words, you're going to be the same messed up mind and suffer the things that even the sons of Shechem suffer. And when all the men of the city had heard the words of Shechem and his father Hamor, then all the men of their city were agreeable to this proposal, and they obeyed to be circumcised. For Shechem and his father Hamor were greatly esteemed by them, being the princes of the land. And on the next day, Shechem and Hamor, his father, rose up early in the morning, and they assembled all the men of their city into the middle of the city, and they called for the sons of Jacob, who circumcised every male according to them on that day and the next. Now, for a good synopsis or a good visual, there's a movie called it's on YouTube. It's called Esau and Jacob, and then in this part of it, it shows where I think it was a woman, and she just laughing, but she holds down these guys go before them, and she chops off the foreskin. Look like she's chopping off more than the foreskin, but that's what they were doing. This is what they were doing, chopping off the foreskins of the sons of Shechem. It will give you a view of what was happening. Now, these people weren't as they didn't have the clothes like they have today. They didn't have none of the things they have today. It was what we would call primitive. Yes, it was. But don't let the hijack of the wording and the way they say things make you think that they were in homes and villages like unto ours. Most of these resemble mostly the villages and homes that you would encounter as you go into rural Africa. Yes, it would. Now, or in the desert with tents among those who are desert dwellers. Now, and they're sitting into the middle of the city, and they call for the sons of Jacob, who circumcised every male belonging to them on that day. And they circumcised Shechem and Hamor his father, and 5 brothers of Shechem. And then everyone rose up and went home, for this thing was from the I Am. It was from the I Am that God he instigated all of this. He knew they had to be deleted. Now, this is when you do the bidding of the Most High, it's going to be to your good. It's not like these people that went in 1948 and took a place that wasn't theirs and was supported by those around them in order to make their hue seem as though what they're not. Now, and they circumcised Shechem, Hamor, his father, and 5 brothers of Shechem. And when everyone rose up and went home for this thing. Now, let's continue. And was Simeon's counsel in this matter in order that the I Am might deliver the city of Shechem into the hands of Jacob's 2 sons. That was Levi and Simeon. Chapter 34, we're going to delve a little bit into this. And the number of all the males were circumcised were 645 men, and 200 and 46 children. And that's a lot of I mean, yeah, looking at some man's, should I say, penis. It's not a bad word. That's what doctors use. Doing this penile surgery, so to speak, in a hideous way. Now, 2, but Shechem, the son of Peter, the father of Hamor, and his 6 brothers would not listen unto Shechem. For his father Hamor, they would not be circumcised, for the proposal of the sons of Jacob was loathsome in their sight. And their anger was greatly roused at this, that the people of the city had not hearkened unto them. And in the evening of the 2nd day, they found 8 small children who had not been circumcised, for their mothers have concealed them from Shechem and his father Hamor, and from the men of the city. And Shechem and his father Hamor sent to have them brought before them to be circumcised. And when Shechem and his 6 brothers sprang at them with their swords and sought to slay them, they sought to slay Shechem and his father Hamor, and they sought to slay Dinah with them on account of this matter, because these still are the ways of spirits, evil and good spirit, even in those who obey God. These things are happening. They sway the minds of men. You have to learn this. Someone said one time, I viewed a post, the Bible is not spirituality. No, you're not spiritual. That's the problem. You don't steal. Your pineal gland is gone. But anyway, and they sought to say also Shechem and his father Hamor, and they sought to slay Dinah with them on account of this matter. And they said unto them, what is this thing that you have done? Are there no women amongst the daughters of your brethren, the Canaanites, that you wish to take unto yourselves daughters of the Hebrews, whom ye know not before, and will do this act which your fathers have never commanded you? Do you imagine that you will succeed through this act which you have done? And what will you answer in this affair to your brother, the Canaanites, who will come tomorrow and ask you concerning this thing? Now remember, the Canaanites were the ones who stole this land. Taking back the land. Now, if your act shall not appear just and good in their sight, what will you do for your lives and me for our lives in your not having hearkened to our voices? And if the inhabitants of the land are your brethren, and the children of Ham shall hear of your acts, saying, on account of a Hebrew woman did Shechem and Hamor his father and all the inhabitants of their city do that which they had not been unacquainted, and which their ancestors have never commanded them, where then will you fly, or where conceal your shame all your days before your brethren in the inhabitants of the land of Canaan? And now therefore we cannot bear up against this thing which you have done, neither can we be burdened with this yoke upon us, which our ancestors did not command us. And we're going to stop at verse 11, and with all that we're going to say peace.
Walk with me.